You're listening to Nicholas Acosta, host of the podcast Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. Nick sits down with guests to talk about real estate and how it works. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. This is Nicholas Acosta, realtor with eXp Realty here in beautiful Winter Springs, Florida. And this is Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. I'm a licensed Florida realtor with eXp Realty. You can reach me at www.downtown.expert or 407-508-8809 or on Facebook, Instagram, Home to All 101. Today is a special episode. I'm joined here by a good friend and family of mine, Melissa, and we're here at her house, and we're talking today about mental health awareness. Especially with what's going on with the unrest, with protests, as well as the COVID-19 virus pandemic. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
To the show.
Thank you, Nick, for having me and for coming to me. And because I know that with everything going on, especially downtown Orlando area, that it's hard to kind of park and everything else. But I'm excited to be here.
No, I'm glad that you accepted my invitation. I'm glad to come to you. Yeah, like she's saying that the other day we had like 2,500 protests outside our window. And we can see him and hear him from the 8th floor of our condo. Things have been just crazy down there with, they've been pretty much peaceful, but some people were jumping on top of cars, literally. So that's kind of an interesting thing that's going on in the world. So, Melissa, we want to talk about the mental health awareness. And,
yes.
We talked about this before, about how they designate May as mental health awareness. But you and I had a conversation that every day, no matter what month it is, should be mental health awareness, because it doesn't really, mental health doesn't discriminate by the time of the year, is what I'm trying to say. So what are your thoughts on that, and what should people be aware of when it comes to mental health awareness?
So personally, I've been struggling with mental health issues since about 18 years old. And I think that, like Nick said, even though like there's designated months for each thing, like whether it be mental health or Black History Month or Breast Cancer Month, that mental health is something that you need to work at every single day, whether it be moment to moment, step by step, or day to day. And I think that a lot of people are shamed or bullied or stigmatized for that kind of word. Right. Oh, you have mental health issues. Okay, well, we have a voice. We're human. We're people too. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you are in the world. It's so important that we educate not only ourselves, but people about it.
Oh, no, I completely agree with you. My struggles are not the same exactly what we're going to tell our listeners and viewers today, but personal experience, I mentioned to you before, I lost my late mom at 5 years old, and been dealing with a mental health struggle since then. And a lot of people would say, well, no big deal. You lost your parent. You were 5. How can you remember that? No, I remember it really well and very clearly. Unfortunately, I guess I was blessed with an eidetic memory. I'll never forget that day when my entire family was there. So with that, getting into this, tell me, Melissa, so what is it you had mentioned before? It was 19 years ago this year that you lost your brother for an accident that was out of everybody's control. So tell me exactly what happened with that and how it impacted your life.
Yes. So in December of 2001 was basically that month, and that year was a pivotal moment in my life that affected all the events going forward. My brother, Evan, was killed in a motorcycle accident in his neighborhood, going home to his wife and my niece, 2-month-old baby girl. So it was definitely a tragic, situation where you get the call, you're coming in from dinner and you get a call, and I happen to have a landline phone in my room. And so my parents picked up the kitchen phone and I picked up my phone in my room because I was 18 at the time. And you hear his mother say, because we have different moms, he's my half brother. You hear her say, there's been an accident and Evan didn't survive. And, you know, your whole body and your world and everything just collapses around you. And I remember even going to school the next day and seeing the principal and them saying, you know, you should probably go home. You should probably be grieving right now. And it just, I mean, it ripple affected throughout the family and friends. And, you know, I have a lot of support, but I think that that was, like I said, the pivotal moment and the start of kind of my depression, anxiety journey that I've overcome every single time. And I think it's so important to rise above and be that overcomer.
Right.
And that's similar to what you have gone through as well, just in a different way.
Exactly. Yeah. My struggle is one, I lost my mother at 5, and then unfortunately 3 years ago, coming up in November, my late father passed away at the age of 67, about a week before my birthday. And that was after I had gone through a bad relationship that I got myself wrapped up into an opiate addiction, intravenous heroin addiction. And that was basically taking my years of losing my mother and people being so nasty toward me for my whole life, having a stepmother that was evil, that kept pushing off that you don't have a mental illness. They kept telling me, no, you're fine. Oh, there's something wrong. Your son's crazy, is what the doctors would say. And that was something that, you know, that I had to face and like you're facing or you have faced. And what's great about Melissa and I is that, you know, we've had a lot of life things go on. We've done a lot of our best to try to hold ourselves together. But deep down inside, especially with her, when she lost her brother, that's something hard to keep inside. And now she's married, she has children. And so, of course, what does that do for you? Like being a mother, like, especially now with this whole, that I'm sure you're very protective, and I know you're very protective. Just let the viewers and listeners know like what you do to protect your children because of that experience you had when you were 18 years old.
Right, exactly. Well, first, let me touch on the word crazy, because I think that word is highly misused. And for someone to say to you or your parents, your son is crazy. Okay, well, obviously the doctors or whoever was being seen, I mean, they're not educated in psychology. You cannot call someone with a mental illness crazy. It is just about the worst thing you could say to someone.
Agreed.
And as far as being a mother, which God has given me the biggest blessings in my life. My kids are my life. Those are my reasons for being. And I have such a supportive husband. And I think right now, like with everything going on with the pandemic and just all the issues in the world that are going on right now, day to day, and all the pain and suffering, it's a lot. And I think that instead of bubbling your children, right, you need to talk to them as little adults, because I mean, they're sponges, right? They're going to absorb our vibes. They're going to absorb our attitude. They're going to absorb our mannerisms, how we talk, our tone, everything. So I think you have to be careful about how you speak to them in general, whether or not there's stuff going on in the world that feels unsafe for them. And I think the biggest thing is to love everybody and give everybody respect, regardless of anything. And that covers everything from religion to race, gender, preference, everything. And I think my kids, are very much alert and aware. Even though they're 4 and 6, they know. People think, oh, they're little, they're babies. No, they know. Because I can see how they react to me and my husband, even to Uncle Nick and Uncle Lee. And they love animals. They want to play. They want to learn. So I think that it's really important that we take a closer look kind of inside ourselves as parents to kind of see, okay, how should I react to this? Because they're going to watch and they learn from you.
No, exactly. And I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying about how they understand and being around Melissa's children, that they're like, I mean, today, just like her little son, little Mark, she was saying things and he would repeat things, and they were singing lyrics or something to a song, and he kept saying it. I even mentioned to him a story about that when I was a little kid, about a fairy tale where the monkey, you would jumping on the bed. 5 monkeys jumping in the bed, And I just
Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said,
right. And I just said it to him, about the monkeys. If you fall over, they're gonna, crack your head open. And he started singing the song, and like holy cow! And like he's very intuitive to it. And I would say any parent out there would be in denial that if you don't know that your kids are aware of what's going on, especially with the unrest and this destruction of civilization that's going on around us, because we as humans evolve. Yes, things were different when Melissa and I were children. Obviously, we understood things then, but children nowadays have access to technology. They're educated different ways. Yeah, and then it's just like, and they have phones around them. Like we didn't have that back then. It was you had to get a newspaper.
Nick and I had beepers. Okay, we're from the beeper generation.
Well, I was 16 in 1996. I had a beeper. Yes. Anyway, so that's funny because that's how my father wanted to get it and make sure that he can get in touch with me when I go to the movie theater back then. But yeah, so yeah, we didn't have cell phones like we had with Facebook. I didn't even get Facebook until I was 28 years old, and that's been a while, but still. But anyways, Melissa, so what else? Like, what else should be people like anything? What else in your past, or how have you coped with this and dealt with this? Because I know a lot has been thrown at you guys, you and your husband. One, schools closed because of the pandemic, and two, then you had to go through, unemployment because your husband's business slowed down because there's a pandemic going on, and a lot of people are on unemployment. So with that going, and then you had to become a teacher, essentially.
Kindergarten teacher. Yeah.
So how does all this has affected you, and what have you done to cope with these challenges that the world has put in front of you?
Okay, so of course, initially I was heartbroken, not just for my daughter, my baby starting school, kindergarten, having one of the best times of her life and being ripped from that because of safety concerns. Obviously, it was put in place for a reason. So I think that really impacted her and had a direct effect on me and my son who was in preschool. And, I think it's important for kids to have that kind of socialization as a youngster. So I think that was a kind of a shell shock at first for all of us.
Right.
But I turned into gear, and we did school in the morning, and we did iReady after dinner, and we had little Mark have his own little classroom section with cutting and doing fine motor skill learning and alphabet and writing his name, and Mia rose above too and just killed it, and she is so eager to go back just to learn. And as far as being laid off, I hold no ill will feelings about that. I think that people didn't want so strangers or someone in their home, even though a lot of the customers are like family. I just think that was the safest thing for everybody. And I guess I'm going to be announcing right now that Mark and I have been offered positions in a different county in Florida. So we're going to be transitioning our family and our jobs elsewhere. So I think that the big man upstairs has everything in place and in control, and we're kind of following on the path that he's laid before us. But I think that no matter, regardless of your faith or your beliefs, that I think that it's important to kind of be flexible and be dynamic and not static, because if you can kind of mold and go with the time and put your family first, or yourself, if you're single, that's what's going to get you through, and that positive mindset is everything.
I couldn't agree more. It's and just because there's been a lot of craziness and job loss during this time, there's also been a lot of opportunities, like Melissa said, with her husband and her to relocate in Florida to have for a different same business but a different opportunity within the business for air conditioning, repair and installation, but also a better thing for you guys, because now your husband's going to be in a position where he doesn't have to always be in the field, which takes time away from being home with his kids and his wife, and he's going to be able to be there with them more often, which is an amazing opportunity. That's why what she's talking about, how God presents opportunities in different ways, and that's a blessing for them, because that kind of job, that career, you're out in the field for 20, 15, 20 hours a day or more, depends on, but you're out like all the time, basically. You're never home. But that's going to give them more family time, which is great. So yeah, Melissa, so how about like, would you say, one other thing I was going to ask is the thing that happened with your brother and all that,
right.
and how it impacted you. I mean, what did it do in terms of like, maybe like the way your parents treated you growing up after, you already were an adult, but like from 18 years on until now, it's been 19 years. That's a long time. So what has that been like with your family, with the whole situation?
Well, for starters, having the same father, it really kind of course, initially we grieved, and every family member in my family grieved differently. Some people were angry. Some people were just devastated. Some people went through the grieving process where you're angry, and then you're sad, and then you're mourning, and then you kind of gotta just kind of get back into this reflection phase.
Right.
And I think that for me, being so close to my daddy, which I call daddy, and I'm going to be, 37, but he's my daddy forever. And I think that seeing him hold
that's all right, Melissa.
his head, I'm not going to cry, but seeing him hold his own head in his own hands, mourning the loss of his firstborn son, kind of almost drove me to be better. Like, because regardless if Evan had mental illness or not, I think that Evan would want me and my dad to push and go and be happy and live our best life and be successful in whatever it is that we may do. And I think that it just brought us closer, not just my mom. It brought my mom and my dad and my brother and I closer, and my other brother, David, closer. And I think that family, obviously nothing's perfect. Okay. We live on earth. Okay. But I think that it really pulled the family together as one. And I'm also really close with Evan's mom, who is not my mom, because she's a piece of him, and she's so sweet. And I love you, Jeannie, but she's just awesome. And my niece, Morgan, she's going to college, 2 months old in 01. Now she's going to be going to college and turning 18. Or 19. So that's amazing. So I'm just really proud of my family and where I come from. And,
it's almost like, it's your brother's, late brother's spirit lives on, and
exactly.
the daughter and his daughter. So.
Exactly. And she will thrive, because of it. And I think that she can kind of turn that around too. Like, okay, my dad's in heaven, but I'm going to be me and live my life and be successful. And I feel like no matter what challenges people face, I mean, it's hard to like be in the moment and say, I'm giving up, because it gets comfortable, right? You're in this rut, right? You're like, okay, well, I'm just going to be depressed. And then I think you're allowed those moments too. Right. But then in the end of the week, it's like, nope, I'm going to be that go-getter because I got to get moving here. And I think for me, it's been my kids pushing me, dragging me, friends like you and Lee that have become family, and supportive family and supportive husband and everything. So
I think it's actually been 1 year this month that we started becoming we were staying with Melissa and her husband and little Mark and Mia for the entire summer.
We're coming up on our anniversary.
Anniversary. We stayed here, and trust me, things got tense. I won't lie, just for comic relief here, that things got tense. And the reason is because we were all under the same roof, and we were taking care of each other. But I was Lee and I were deciding on. I was working in Pinellas County in St. Pete, and I was doing open houses on the weekend in Orlando, and during the week. So we were going back and forth, and we also have 2 dogs, Rosie and Stewie.
And you were selling the property.
I was selling the property, buying the condo.
It was a lot.
And all that stuff. So things got tense, but it's going to be, this month is a year that we started migrating toward the Orlando area, and I can't believe the time has gone by that fast.
Well, even just saying it out loud, it's like, huh?
Oh, I know. I remember it's been a year because now the rainy season's
right, and it's like, 4th of July, everyone grab your umbrella.
Yeah, it was raining last year on this time for us. But yeah, so you guys out there listening and viewing today, there's a possibility, Melissa's come a long way, and I'm very proud of what she's done. And like I said, her family has a new opportunity. That's a really good opportunity coming to them. And I mean, for 3 years, for crying out loud, I was stuck in a bedroom, stuck in a daze or whatever you want to call it from the substance abuse. And here I am now, alive and well. And, I was basically on death's door from that as well. And you guys have to remember that there is hope for everybody. Like Melissa and I, there is hope out there. You can't give up. You have to just keep pushing forward. If you need help, reach out for help. Call a mental counselor. Call a hotline.
Absolutely. I think we should put a link to.
Sure.
Later. Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Well, in our comment section, I'll add a link for you guys. And actually, I'll add a link right now before we go.
Yeah, and I know it's hard for certain people because I'm an extrovert. So it's very easy for me to kind of feel a certain way and reach out. Whereas for other people, it's not. Whether you're introverted or a little bit of both, I think it's so important that you just kind of speak because you're speaking up for yourself. You have one life. It's a gift. Make the best of it. And I think, I've lost over the years friends because of, suicide. And I think that it's important that whether it be just, death related, drug related, addiction related, anything, I think you have a voice, you speak up for yourself. And there are people out there that care and love you very much.
Yeah. And don't be, like us, don't be embarrassed. I was very embarrassed where I was. And I'm sure you have been too. And don't let embarrassment stop you from telling somebody, because the embarrassment, unfortunately, is what's going to kill you. And you don't want that to lead to that. And that's what happens because you're ashamed of what you've done or what you feel. What is the link that you were going to share with us, Melissa?
Oh, I just think that there should be like some sort of a hotline link. So I know I don't have it written in my notebook, but let's put it in the comments after or right now. Hotlines for mental health counseling, hotlines like for suicide. I mean, if you're having these thoughts or feeling down, even if it's not suicidal, I think having feelings of depression are very, very important to kind of address before it gets from bad to worse. And I know you would agree. So I think that Central Florida, just Orlando in general, has a lot of resources, depending on what outlet you're using for some sort of relief, some sort of connection, some sort of expert help. And I mean, I'm not ashamed. I see a therapist and I see a psychologist, and I've been obviously seeing the same psychiatrist for the past 10 years when I started UCF.
Well, so I'm going to put up the website for everybody too. Yeah, go ahead, Melissa. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm just saying it's so important to take the reins of your own life because it's the way to survive. And I could, God forbid, get in an accident tomorrow. But, that's something that we can control. We have to control that.
No, I completely agree. And I'm sharing with you guys the link. And I appreciate you guys' patience with this technology stuff here. But I'm going to comment. It's on the screen right now. You guys will see it on the screen, the central.fl.networkofcare.org. That's just the one to get you. There's different topics that you can talk about. I know one thing. I don't know the website offhand right now. We live downtown, and we have what do you call it? The Sunrail and CSX Rail and Amtrak that come through downtown. Mm-hmm. And there's even hotline numbers when you look at the Sunrail that if you feel like you're gonna commit suicide. And the main reason to have that is because in case somebody decides to jump on the tracks to commit suicide or off the platform, call those numbers to get help. Don't wait. Don't wait, and don't jump in front of the train or anything like that, or anything, or in traffic, or take any kind of medication that could land you in the hospital. Most of the time when people go to the overdose, usually, yes, one, you can pass away from it. But another thing is that you can also cause brain damage, and you want to just get that off your chest with your family or your close friends right away, or just reach out for help when you know that you need help for sure.
So, well, thank you so much, everybody. Whoever was listening, watching, share.
Well, let me see. Let's share some of your page.
Oh, Christy, my girl. Aw, my Paigey Poo. My girl. These are my girls, Paige and
then
of course,
Chrissy, how you guys doing?
Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Paige. You've met Chrissy. She has the 2 girls. And
Who?
then,
I'm kidding.
Yeah, who?
Oh, I'm just kidding.
No.
Sorry, Chrissy.
No,
I'm
no.
just joking.
No, and then Paige, and then of course Lee, who is our PIC. Okay, me and Lee go way back.
But we're gonna put Lee up here right
Aw, he loves.
now. What does he say? If you know someone who's struggling with issues of depression,
See,
exactly like
just
we were
be
just
a
saying.
friend, even if it's not a hotline. Call your friend. Be a friend. Every day is a gift. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, thank you guys for your comments and questions. I know everybody out there. This show obviously gets raw and real about in people's emotions and feelings. And I know in the past few days it's been pretty tough. Like I was on yesterday with Mayor Jerry Demings in Orange County, and we talked about. And this goes for mental health mindset as well. It's all about unity, and we know in the world right now why a lot of people are getting frustrated. I mean, of course, I don't condone violence or vandalism or looting. I'm not saying that's not part of it, but what you should all know is that, and they got Natalie Holmes saying hello to us as well.
Hi, Natalie.
Hey there, Natalie. Nice. Thank you for watching.
That's the photographer.
Yep, the one that did all my
Aw.
photography. And basically, Natalie, Natalie, sorry.
Ah!
That's my fault. Melissa and I were saying that this whole situation going on with the protests, although they, pretty much for the most part, the 2,500 people that passed by our building the other day were very peaceful, and the police were actually protecting them and riding alongside them on their bikes. But yeah, we've been, locked in our houses.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people feel cooped up.
They've been bottling up their frustration for 2 months, not being able to. We're wired as human beings to be around each other and socialize, and then you take that ability away from us. Of course, people are gonna lash out. But if you are suffering from mental illness, like Melissa or I have, or it's always there's no such thing as a true cure for anything. So it's a mindset you have to have for the rest of your life. And anytime you have any issues, you always have to talk to friends or family or loved ones. And thank you, Lee,
Yes.
and for unity here. And basically, you got to what was I going to say?
Well, yeah,
Go
it's
ahead.
a combination of mindset, willpower, and or medication if you choose.
Right.
You have to take those steps. And I think that it's one life, one gift. Do it. It's like your body, right? I mean, you can alter your body with any type of surgeries, or if you've had a surgery. I mean, everybody's different, right? I mean, that's what makes us amazing as a world. But you only have one life, one body. So let's take care of it together. Or if not together, own it, own you, and be proud of who you are. You got everybody is amazing in their own way. That's what is so beautiful.
No, I just couldn't have said it better. I really appreciate you coming on the show today, Melissa.
Absolutely.
And talking
Thank you,
about
Nick.
this, especially on this
Dreary.
dreary, rainy day. I told Lee, I said, the lakes around Orlando and Winter Springs.
They're filling up.
Well, they were very empty looking, especially Lake Eola downtown. I was looking, and I told him, I'm going to tell the universe that we need rain. And then it's been raining for the past. Well, it's supposed to be raining for the next week.
Look at you, all in touch with that universe.
Don't come and beat me up anybody because of this. Because
Right?
the rain's going to be.
They'll call you the Rain Man.
Now that the Universal Orlando reopened, it's going to be raining every day at the park. But sorry about that. It's not my fault. All right. Anyways, guys. So just a quick announcement here. Tomorrow, I'm going to be again at the Citrus Club with Yvonne Sandoval, the real estate show with a view. We'll have to have you, Melissa, on the future program schedule. We could have you on the show as well to talk about this mental health awareness mindset for real estate agents, because the real estate show with a view, right? And so with the real estate show with a view, we talk about how to help real estate agents thrive and strive. And I think we should have you on to talk about your story again, because everybody in this business, and any business, but especially real estate, should be aware of their mental health mindset, because we are impacted. We have clients wanting this, wanting that, and which I love working with everybody. And then you have it's all a life work balance that you have to have, and I think that would be a good thing. And I'm sure, I know Yvonne, if she was right here with me right now, she's probably watching. Hey there, Yvonne. How's it going?
Hi, Yvonne.
I'll see you tomorrow at the Citrus Club, Yvonne. But we're getting to, we'll talk, we'll bring you on sometime in the future for that show. So you can talk to real estate agents directly about mental health awareness, because I know it impacts my life when I go and do my work. And, yeah. All right. So everybody, 2:00 tomorrow from the Citrus Club, the Real Estate Show with a View. This has been Nicholas Acosta, Realtor with eXp Realty, coming to you live today from Winter Springs, Florida, with Melissa here. And thank you again, Melissa, for being on here.
You're welcome.
And this is Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. Just some side note, there is upgrades coming to our intro, outro. The sound voiceovers are being updated, and more awesome technology coming to our shows. And a third podcast in the works. Also, because we'll talk about that later, but looking to buy, sell, or invest, reach out to me today, and I'm here to help you. Still working 100% in this COVID-19 world. Wishing you all great real estate health. Stay safe out there. Continue to practice social distancing. Be kind to everyone around you, and have a great day. Is there any other words or anything else you want to say before I hit the intro or the outro?
I just want to say, love is love.
And, you got another one here. This gentleman, Ruiz.
Life is great today. Oh,
thank you, Ruiz.
Yes, that's what I want to hear. You go, boy, with your bad self.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to us. Is that we hit the bottom, and then had have everything stripped away from us to come back to where we're at today. So, love you too, Natalie, and love you too. Well, not. Lee said, I love you, Natalie, but not to I love you, Melissa or Nick.
Right. I guess.
Even though Lee's like on the other side of the wall.
Right.
So we're going to call him out on that.
He's creeping and peeping.
He's probably looking out the window over here the whole time. But anyways, on that note, everybody, we do appreciate you joining today. And I thank you for the continued support of the show. We're getting over 100 views at a time and a day for these shows now. Let's remember, everybody post or comment and share these posts.
Yes. And
then that way your friends, family, and loved ones can share and comment and like these posts, so that we can get this viewership even higher than it is today. So again, thank you for joining me here in Winter Springs, Florida. Thank you again, Melissa. And with that, guys, I'm going to put on the outro so you don't have to hear my voice anymore for the day.
Peace.
I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.
This has been Home to All, an all-inclusive real estate podcast. Check out Nick's Facebook and Instagram page, Home to All 101, and his website, www.hometoall.life. Thanks for listening.